You're listening to Real Talk Texas with local expert Steve Hakes. Now, here's Steve.
Welcome back. Today in the studio, we've got Dr. Carl Howe of Val-Trust Capital Partners. They're located in the Galleria area in Dallas, and he's a regular contributor on the show, a real expert for us for the financial area. He's going to co-host some shows with me throughout the upcoming months, and we're going to bring in some exciting guests to talk about some of the things that you might need to know about retirement, some of your planning, things like that. And before the break, we started talking about the retirement cliff. You know, we went through this whole fiscal cliff thing here recently, and it's interesting to use the term retirement cliff. Is that something that we all need to be thinking about right now?
Well, it is basically, and what it is, we've kind of characterized that in our office. You know, Social Security right now, there's over 10,000 people a day turning 65 in our country, all applying for Social Security. And so we're worried about it, but I think
10,000 a day?
10,000 a day.
Wow.
And I think, though, if you're looking essentially at Social Security being there and you're 54, I think Social Security will be there for you. Now, after that, I'm a little bit worried for the Gen Xers. And the thing is, it's actually one of the largest assets a baby boomer has in retirement. In fact, it's estimated that about 64% of the average household is in income from Social Security in retirement. So it's very important that you maximize that. So we talk about strategies to maximize your Social Security. But here you've got, when you retire, you've got this income. And you're going across, just imagine you're going across the cliff, okay? And you got to go across the bridge. Well, the bridge right now is filled with your income from working. But when you quit working, what happens? It drops off. That's the cliff. So now you're going to fill that chasm with Social Security. And maybe you got a pension or maybe another pension or two pensions from a company. But maybe that's just not quite enough to get you across that cavern. Okay?
Right, because no one wants to see their lifestyle drop when they retire.
Correct. So we look at ways to optimize that. We might look at some managed money portfolios, or we actually might look at some guaranteed insurance carriers with some guaranteed products growing at 7% that will create an income rider that will give you a lifetime income for you and or your spouse if you're married. And a lot of those have some great features that have been enhanced recently due to the need for long-term care. They've got enhancement riders on them that actually will give you more long-term care benefits should you need them to augment your retirement. So you're looking for something to fill that gap. That's when we get back into the blend. How much do you need in yellow money being managed? How much do you need in green money? And how much do you need in something that's growing at a guaranteed 7% a year up until you turn it on for retirement? Then you are going to get a guaranteed income for the rest of your life, and you and your spouse together get a guaranteed income that's going to be there. And unlike a traditional pension, the good thing about these types of products is that if you do pass away and there's still money left in the actual account, that money goes to your heirs. Traditionally, in a pension, we see that when you turn on a pension, if you die, it's gone. No matter how much you put into it, it's gone.
Right.
Well, not true with these products.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about the unforeseen, things that might happen, and how do you prepare for that? I mean, a lot of people, they have, Medicare, Medicaid, things like that when they retire. Some teachers out there, I know they can keep the school benefits going. There's some companies that might allow you, I don't even know if that happens anymore, if you can continue with your current health care plan that you have with your employer. I mean, how does that come into play when you're doing the strategy for people? How does the medical part come in?
Well, I think that's a great question. And coming out of the healthcare field, that was really one of my big hot buttons when I first started into this industry, because I looked at it and I realized that basically down the road, the cost of long-term care, one of the challenges in retirement today is people are living longer. And the reason they're living longer is because they're healthier. And people go, well, I'll probably never need long-term care because I'm healthy. Well, that could not be further from the truth. The fact is, if you had cancer or you had heart problems, you may not be around and need long-term care. But if you're healthy, you're eventually going to get to a point where you're going to need some help. And the cost obviously is going up through the roofs every day. And when you talk about health insurance, you talk about Medicare, you talk about these types of things, they don't cover long-term care. Medicare supplements, they only supplement what Medicare pays for. And Medicare will not cover long-term care. They'll say they cover up to 100 days in a nursing home, maximum, but that's nothing. As we know, people might need a lot more than that. And they don't pay for home care, and that's where people would rather be. So what we look at is we look at strategies, and I'll just give you, I met with a client a few weeks ago who actually had an income product set up on the side, and she had a large IRA. She had more than enough money to live on, but she was worried about long-term care in the future. And as a result, we were looking, she had this income account built up. And I said, so you're going to take this income account on top of your RIA distributions that you're required to take, which is going to be taxed. Now, she did have a long-term care policy, and she'd had it for quite a few years. And it was with a very reputable company. But the problem was every year they were raising her rates. And she's thinking two things. Number one, my rates are going through the roof. And number two, if I don't use it, I don't ever use that policy, all the money I put into it, I've lost. So we were able to look and convert her income policy into a policy for long-term care needs that actually tripled the benefits of the income rider. So it gave her a lot more long-term care protection, a lot more than she had with her traditional long-term care policy. And now, if she needs it, it's going to be there for her. And if she doesn't need it, it's going to go to her heirs.
Wow, that's a great strategy. I'm 54, but I still, in my mind, I think I'm like 28 and I'm going to live forever and I'll always be healthy and all those things. So it doesn't really, I guess, when do you start really thinking about that kind of strategy? When should our listeners start getting involved in making sure they've got that long-term care available?
Well, the younger you are, 54 is a great age. 54, 55. Traditionally, a lot of clients come to us at 59 and a half because if you're 59 and a half and you're working for a company that has a 401k, they will allow you in most cases to roll a large portion of that 401k into an IRA. That's when you can roll it into something with a guaranteed income rider that's going to be there for you and get some guaranteed returns, or maybe put a portion of it into a managed portfolio with a little higher returns, but it's going to be actively managed. So we're going to watch over that money. So we have these two platforms to work with. We have our green money platform and our yellow money platform.
I'm investing in my company's IRA and I'm pulling it out of my paycheck, things like that. There's another IRA that's available too. It's a Roth IRA. It's got a little different with the tax treatment. But isn't that something that I could have and self-manage like you're describing, that I could put in whatever I want to?
Well, the way a Roth IRA is that you do have to pay your taxes. Okay. Essentially what we do is we offer a CPA report. If you're interested in setting up a Roth, we'll look at your portfolio. We'll figure out how much of that IRA, traditional IRA, you want to roll into a Roth, what kind of income it can give you in the future. Is it really going to be more benefit to you, or is it going to be more benefit to your heirs when you pass it on to them tax-free? So what we do is we run a comprehensive report through our CPA. It's called a Roth conversion report, and that will give you all the answers you need to know, because just to do it is one thing, but you want to make sure that what you're doing it is actually going to be a benefit to you.
And I guess that comes into the whole strategy. And if you're listening out there and you haven't really sat down and gone through, what you need to do to be prepared for the later years in your life, make sure you go to the website that Dr. Howe and his group has put together here. It's called retirementfoundationgroup.com. That's retirementfoundationgroup.com. They've got a lot of videos there. I think that's awesome because, I'm not really a reader. If I pull up a website and it's got a bunch of words, I'd much rather watch a video and get my information quickly. I'm an audible learner, I guess. But I think that's really great. So if you're listening, you want to go to retirementfoundationgroup.com and then call me up and let me know what you think about the website and what you think about Dr. Howe's group there. You can call me at 214-643-6021. That's 214-643-6021. If you don't have computer access, also just call me up and I'll put you in touch with Dr. Howe and his group. And he can go through. Do you do the consultation for free, or do you charge for that?
That's a great question. When you go to our website, you mentioned the videos. I just want to share with you. We have a lot of videos on there covering different topics that retirees or pre-retirees are interested in, but they're only about 2 minutes in length. I don't want to listen to a long, drawn-out duration. And I think, it's important that whatever you do, you understand it. It's not enough for your financial advisor to understand what's going on. You need to sit down with your financial advisor periodically, at least 2-3 times a year, and go over your portfolios, go over your assets, go over your estate planning, make sure everything's set up for your beneficiaries. We offer a lot of things, but it is, by the way, you can log in, and there's a place to sign up on our website for a free or complimentary consultation. And what it is, it's a second opinion evaluation. I kind of say that because I was in the healthcare field. Okay, it's an evaluation. We do a diagnostic examination on your portfolios, on your retirement plan, and we want to make sure that your retirement plan is going to meet your needs. And in that first visit, we just gather a bunch of information. Then we have you come back. And again, by the way, I just want to share with people, most of our clients do come into our office, but in those certain cases, we do make house calls. Okay, we're like the old-fashioned doctor. Okay, but we do
Okay,
make house
great.
calls, and we want to basically make sure that everything's meeting your needs. So in the second visit, then we'll sit down and we're going to go over the risks that we see in your portfolios. We're going to go over whether it be healthcare, whether it be estate planning, whether it be a beneficiary review, whether it be some estate planning issues with settling your estate. You want to make sure that your estate settles.
Well, if you're listening and you want that information, make sure you give us a call. Call me at my desk. Go ahead and just call me there, 214-643-6021. That's 214-643-6021. Don't call me right now because I'm on the air. But if you do call me right now, actually do call me right now. Just leave me a voicemail. And we're going to come back. We're going to talk more about retirement, about financial planning. I'm so happy to have our new regular contributor, a real expert in a financial field, Dr. Carl Howe. And so you want to go to his website. Make sure you go to his website at retirementfoundationgroup.com. And the next segment, we're going to talk more about what happens I want to talk about post-retirement. People that are already retired, what are some of the things they need to be thinking about and doing right now? And I'm sure there's some great tips. I just want to hit, what are the 3 things they should be doing right now to make sure that they're okay going forward. And we talk a lot about what's happening in the real estate markets and financial markets here. We see prices and everything going up. I mean, my son, he's in the beef industry, and he's been talking to me about how beef prices have been going up dramatically. So that's some of the things I want to talk about. How do you make sure that your lifestyle doesn't change? And if you're already retired, what can you do to make sure that you're okay there? So stay tuned. You're listening to Real Talk Texas here on KLIF, AM 570, News and Information.